Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Last Stand Gamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at the Scarabaeus. Now this is a ship that is designed to transport multiple sort of cargo modules. Now we've looked at ships like this in the past, but this one has a few rather interesting features going for it. Now first off, if we actually come to the front of the ship, well not the front of the ship, the front of the ship's over this side, and we look down, you'll notice it's on this very strange angle. Well, not particularly strange, it's like on a ship that's like literally on 90 degrees. So everything is kind of warped over to one perspective, and it is not symmetrical in all areas. That may concern a few of you guys, but to me, unsymmetrical ships are rather fun. So first off, let's inspect the modules that you'll be fitting aboard this. So this is great for transporting all sorts of supplies. So first off, we've just got the basic cargo container module, where we've got this access door on this side, and we've got a staggered merge block, so you don't accidentally connect it upside down, and that's always a great little handy thing to do. So we're moving on to the next compartment. We actually have in this one, let's have a quick look inside. We actually have a Cryo Bay Module. So maybe you're transporting your slaves through space, then you can use this Cryo Bay Module to get them to the intended destination. Now in the next module, we have a simple Hydra Module. Maybe you're transporting your Hydrogen to two areas, or maybe your Hydrogen thrusters aboard your ship need a little bit extra juice, or maybe you've broke down and need that extra fuel. This module will be guaranteed to refuel you. Now say the ship needs to jump a little bit further away, or maybe another ship's jump drive's broken down, we have ourselves a jump drive module, great for extending the jump drive range. Now moving on, we have ourselves the oxygen tank module, of course providing us with beautiful oxygen in case we run out. Great for resupplying them alien worlds or other places that suffer from oxygen based issues. Now moving on to the final container, we actually have a refinery module. So combining 2 or 3 of these modules together is a great way of starting off a base on a planet. This ship could simply just come up, drop a number of these modules off, and you'd be good to go on your survival, especially with the refinery and the oxygen module. That'd be a pretty good start, get yourself resupplied and whatnot. So moving a little bit further back onto the ship, so let's start ourselves up at the front. Now the first thing, like I said before, is you'll notice that the ship is built on a 90-degree angle. So all these blocks that you think would be the center of the ship up here are actually angle blocks. Just look at this weird sort of mesh based armor that is created going around the side here. It just really is quite beautiful. Just like, you just got to think about how he worked this out, how he cut different sections out and applied them over each other. We've got a little bit of an antenna that's been dug into that area. Just look at them subtle bits of colour he's added on there just to give it this really beautiful effect. So as we come along to the side, we also have the thrusters that are lined up along this little pylon, and down this bottom bit you've got this little extension area where he's put some more thrusters as well, just really nice, and a little bit of an entrance bay here. Since the interior for this ship is extremely simple, I'm just going to cover it now before we pop back outside. So this is one of the hangar bays on this particular side. You can see how most of the interior is just great for accessing and maintaining. So up here we actually have one of the rows. Now this is where it gets a little bit confusing. If we're walking up on this row, just look, it looks like we're looking down onto an area, but the whole gravity system in this ship has been changed around. So there we have one of the docking bays that you can mess with the controls. You can close the doors up, seal it airtight if there isn't anything docked in it. But if you just notice, as we drop into this area, the gravity sort of plane changes. So this is now the center of the ship, and it just creates this really beautiful shape. Probably better for storing cargo containers as well. So as we venture up into this area, the level just kind of planes itself off. So if I just grab my spectator camera, for instance, and find exactly where I am. So there's where I am, and I hit 9. You can see how the gravity plane sort of changes as I run across into the particular areas, and then it levels back up as I get over to the other side. Just another really cool factor of this ship, something done a little bit differently. So let's pop ourselves back outside to that emergency entrance door that we ventured through. So there we go. So there's a little door, and here is one of the modules that I attempted to add on to this thing. So to add these modules, it's quite simple. You just connect the connector points up. So you can see I've just brought this very close, and to do this you may be thinking, well, do you have to maneuver the whole ship to bring each one of them in position? We have a little sort of stacker truck ship that is mounted on this side with a little bit of a landing gear on the front. So this is basically used just to shunt the different modules into position, something that's really needed so you can keep the ship still. If you had multiple of them, of course you could load them modules a lot faster, but one is good enough, and then you don't really need redundant sort of ships if you've got a projector aboard. So moving it across, you can see we've got them holes for the various cargo modules on both sides that just slip in really well. And there's a lot of space on either side, so you don't have to be super precise when you're lining them up, because the actual merge block will snap them into position. So continuing along this ribbon, we've got this central section that acts as a little area where we store the on-board jump drives. Just look at that little bit of armor building he's done there. He's cut the sides down, and then he's vented this inner area, so it feels like maybe them jump drives are going to vent a lot of heat out. So moving a little bit further back, we've got 2 more modules, and just something like this is great help as well. So if you ram a module into the side, you don't damage the ship because you've got them heavy blast doors protecting that outcrop of armor. Another one of these outcrops of jump drives, as well as that little laser antenna there in the center. So you can't really do too much detailing on this top plane due to it being at that angle, but he's done some really nice just little ribs and bits sticking out at the top, maybe just including a bit of ventilation. So we come to the rear area, we've got ourselves the cockpit. So the cockpit is once again on a really weird angle, but if we have a quick look there, you can see it's actually on that 90-degree angle, but it's basically meant to be used like that, I'm supposed to suppose, but it's an interesting concept. Let's continue going towards the back of the ship. So we have the thruster pack now. Now, the only sort of weakness I see of this thruster pack is how they've actually attached the engines. The engines are attached by these little strands along the back there, so if this got itself into a firefight, severing the engines would be extremely easy. But look at the detailing they've added. So these look like they're like joints, so the engines could actually flex up and down, but they don't, of course. It's just a cut down block to add a little bit more detailing. And as we work our way around through this ribbed area, we enter to the engine pack that, in my opinion, looks absolutely beautiful. Let's hop into the cockpit and we'll give it a quick little bit of a fly, just see how maneuverable this cargo ship is. So due to the amount of thrust aboard and the gyroscopes that I've seen hidden away, I'm expecting some good things from this ship. So the gyroscopes is a little bit slow, a little spine moving. Just also look at the angle, how we're actually flying at that 90 degrees. A little bit confusing. It'd be nice if it was leveled off between the 2 engines, but it's just something you'd have to deal with. So we've got rather good acceleration, as you can see on the little dial at the bottom left. We're getting up to that maximum speed very quickly. Let's see how fast we stop. Okay, it's a bit slow. It's a bit like an oil tanker for when it comes to stopping, so you're going to have to judge before you get to the dock so you don't just ram straight into the station. The gyroscope turning radius is not too good. But anyway, it is a beautiful ship, and I'd like you to check this out. There'll be a link down in the description below. Module goes flying off. Anyway, see you next time.